Hello, dear students. My name is Dinesh Ahirrao. I'm working as an assistant professor of political science in University of Delhi. And today in this lecture, we are going to discuss the controversies surrounding money bill. All right. So this particular lecture is not a part of polity per se. It is a part of current affairs series. All right. So this particular lecture is a part of current affairs. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the various controversies which are surrounding the money bill. See, I have observed that many of the students, they have confusions regarding money bill, regarding the speaker's decision whether it is final or not, and regarding the Supreme Court observations. So in this context, unraveling this controversy is very important. All right. So recently, I mean, in February 2021, the Congress through Jairam Ramesh, it wrote a letter to the Speaker of Lok Sabha, Om Birla, requesting him not to pass various bills as money bills. All right. So this was a news, right? It came in February 2021, wherein the Congress through Jairam Ramesh requested Speaker of Lok Sabha Om Birla not to consider the bills such as, say, Higher Education Commission bill, so on and so forth, as money bill, right? So in this context, let us understand money bill. All right. So let's start. So before we understand the controversy, we should know what is money bill. All right. So Article 110 of the Constitution explicitly defines what should be a money bill. All right. So according to Article 110 clause 1, a bill shall be deemed to be a money bill if it contains only provisions which are as follows. These are the provisions. I hope you are able to see. I am going to tell you all the provisions. All right. So understand this, that the money bill is a bill which is defined under Article 110. 110 clause 1 subclause A to F. Right. This article defines what is the money bill, right? So a money bill, according to this article, is a bill which contains provisions only which deals with all or any of the following matter. Number 1, imposition, abolition, alteration, remission, regulation of any tax. All right, a bill which deals with imposition, abolition, alteration, remission, regulation of any tax will be considered as money bill. First, clause B, a bill which regulates the borrowing by the union government. A bill which deals with the regulation of borrowing by government of India will also be considered as money bill. Then next, a bill which provides for the custody of Consolidated Fund of India or Contingency Fund of India, or payment of monies into or withdrawal of money from any such fund, from both Consolidated Fund of India or Contingency Fund of India. So if a particular bill talks about the custody of Consolidated Fund of India or Contingency Fund of India, or the payment of monies into such fund or withdrawal of money from such funds, namely Consolidated Fund of India and Contingency Fund of India, will be considered as money bill. The next is a bill which provides for appropriation of funds out of Consolidated Fund of India. The next is declaring any of the expenditure as expenditure charged upon the Consolidated Fund of India, or increasing the amount of such expenditure. The next, receipt of money on account of Consolidated Fund of India or public account of India. Understand the difference here. In clause C, talks about custody of Consolidated Fund of India and Contingency Fund of India, but here the clause F talks about the receipt of money on account of Consolidated Fund of India or public account of India. All right. So it talks about receipt of money on account of Consolidated Fund of India or public account of India, or custody or issue of such money, or the audit of accounts of the union or the state government. All right. And then G is any other matter which is incidental to all the matters which are specified in subclauses A to F. All right, fine. So now this is the definition of money bill. I'll repeat again. So money bill, the article 110 clause 1, subclause A to, say it is G, because G also talks about definition, right? So article 110 clause 1, subclause A to G provides the definition of money bill. Now according to this article, any bill, a bill shall be deemed to be a money bill if it contains only provisions which deals with all or any of the following matters, and these matters we have already discussed. All right, now article 110 talks about the definition of money bill as far as union government is concerned. So similarly, article 119 of the constitution provides the definition of money bills with respect to state legislature. Alright, so there can be a question in prelims that which article of the Indian constitution provides the definition of money bill with respect to state legislature. Then the answer is article 119. Most of the students, they know about 110, but they don't know about article 119. Alright, so understand the definition of money bill is given in constitution at in two articles, 110 union money bill, then article 119 money bill with respect to state legislature. Alright, now next, article 110 clause 2 provides that a bill shall not be deemed to a money bill by the reason that it contains following matters. I repeat, according to 110 clause 2 says that a bill shall not be deemed to be a money bill by a reason that it provides only for following things. Number one is imposition of fines or other pecuniary penalties. Pecuniary means something which is related to money. Alright, so if a bill only provides for imposition of fines or other pecuniary penalty, then that will not be considered as money bill. Just because it provides for imposition of fines or penalties, it will not be considered as money bill. The next, if a bill provides for, if a bill deals with the demand of fees or payment of fees for licenses, say, or for service rendered by the government, then that bill will not be considered as money bill. If a bill deals with, say, payment of fees or demand of fees for services such as license, right, or or fees for the service render, Government of India provides so many of services. So if the particular bill deals with the fee on the service, about the service renderer, then that bill will not be considered as money bill according to article 110 clause 2. Then third is a bill, if a bill provides for imposition, abolition, remission, alteration or regulation of any tax by local authority or a body for local purpose, then that bill will not be considered as money bill. For example, if Panchayati Raj institutions or say urban local bodies, if they provide for imposition of any tax or abolition, regulation of any tax, then that bill will not be considered as money bill. So article 110 clause 1 defines what is money bill. Article 110 clause 2 defines what shall not be a money bill, and these are the three conditions. All right, now next, very important, article 110 clause 3. It talks about who decides whether a bill is money bill or not. Now according to article 110 clause 3, if any question arises as to whether a bill is money bill or not, then the decision of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha shall be final. Alright, so if any question arises as to whether a particular bill is a money bill or not, then the decision is taken by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Understand, Speaker of Lok Sabha and not the Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Alright, now herein lies the question that whether the decision of the Speaker as far as a particular bill, treating particular bill as a money bill, can be challenged in the court or not. Now this is the question which we are going to consider in the later half of our lecture. This is very important, and many of the students, they get confusion, right? They are confused about it, right? So now, according to rules of procedure and conduct of business of the Lok Sabha, see, every house has its own rules, each house has rule making power, right, to conduct business, regulate its procedure under Article 110, Constitution provides it, right? So Speaker is under no obligation to consult anyone in coming to a decision whether a particular bill is money bill or not. Speaker is not bound to consult anyone. He can decide whether a bill is money bill or not on its own. So this is Article 110 Clause 3. Now 110 Clause 4 says that whenever a bill is passed by Lok Sabha and transmitted to the Rajya Sabha for its consideration, or transmitted to the President for his or her assent, then the Speaker has to endorse that bill as a money bill. Speaker has to give certificate. The certificate, Speaker certificate, is must, and this is provided under Article 110 Clause 4. Alright, so now as of now we have discussed what is money bill, what should not be considered as money bill, who decides whether a bill is money bill or not, and then we have also discussed that how the Speaker's certificate is must when Lok Sabha transmit the money bill to Rajya Sabha, or when the bill, after being passed by both the Houses of Parliament, is presented to President. Again, the Speaker's certificate is must under Article 110 Clause 4. Alright. Now next, what is the procedure to pass money bill? Now Constitution of India under Article 109 provides for special provision with respect to money bill. Alright, so before we consider the special provision regarding to procedure to pass money bill, we need to understand what are the examples of money bill. Right, so we have said that the money bill is a bill which contains only provisions which deals with all or any of the matters specified in Article 110 Clause 1. Alright, what are the exact examples? Now, as far as budget process is concerned, there are various bills which have been treated as money bill, but as far as budget process is concerned, during the budget process, two bills are introduced. One is finance bill and second is appropriation bill. I hope you are aware about that. We are going to discuss budget process in detail when we discuss the polity class, right? So during the budget process, two bills are introduced. All right, so first is finance bill. Now basic purpose of finance bill is to give legal effect to the taxation proposals by the government of India, right? So during the budget speech, finance minister provides various taxation proposals. Now to give effect to that taxation proposals, the finance bill is introduced by the finance minister in Lok Sabha. Now the finance bill is introduced by the finance minister, union finance minister, immediately after the budget speech. The moment finance minister finishes her speech, she rises again and takes the leave, asks for the leave of the house to introduce what is called as finance bill. So when finance bill is introduced immediately after the conclusion of budget speech. Understand this, right? Fine. Now this finance bill is money bill. Why? Because it deals with imposition, abolition, remission, so on and so forth of taxes, right? Article 110, Clause 1, Subclause A. That's why it is money bill. Then next, appropriation bill. Yes, appropriation bill is introduced in Lok Sabha after the demands for grants have been discussed and voted upon in Lok Sabha. Then after the process is over, the appropriation bill including these demands for grants duly voted by Lok Sabha so appropriation bill basically permits the government to appropriate money out of the Consolidated Fund of India. And we have seen that any bill, we have seen in Article 110, a bill which provides for appropriation of fund out of Consolidated Fund of India will be considered as money bill. And that's why appropriation bill is also treated as money bill. Alright, and the money bill is passed by simple majority. The majority required to pass money bill is simple majority. Alright, so finance bill and appropriation bill which are introduced during the budget process, they are money bill. Many of the students might not know about it. That's why I discuss it. All right. So now coming back to the procedure, I've already told you that Article 109 of the Constitution provides for special procedure in regard to money bill. Now, according to Article 109 Clause 1, money bill cannot be introduced in the Council of States, meaning Rajya Sabha. Money bill cannot be introduced in Rajya Sabha. It means that the money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha, right? And it cannot be introduced in Rajya Sabha. Now next, according to the rules of procedure and conduct of business of Lok Sabha, money bill cannot be introduced without prior recommendation of the President. And a money bill can only be introduced by a minister, meaning it can only be a government bill. A government bill is a bill which is introduced by a minister. Alright, so money bill can introduced only by a minister. It can only be a government bill. It cannot be a private member's bill. Now, private members basically are those members who are not ministers. As simple as that. Irrespective of their party affiliation. Right? So, even a member of ruling party, if he is not a minister, then he will consider as a private member. And the private members, they can also introduce bills. Alright, so money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha, not in Rajya Sabha, according to Article 109, Clause 1. Then money bill can only be introduced with a prior recommendation of the President. And then the money bill cannot be a private member bill. It has to be government bill, meaning only minister can introduce money bill. Right? Now, when the money bill is passed by Lok Sabha and it is transmitted to Rajya Sabha, the Rajya Sabha has restricted power to pass money bill. And this is also provided under Article 109. Alright. With regard to money bill, when Rajya Sabha receives money bill, then it has restricted powers. How? Right? So now, Rajya Sabha cannot reject money bill. Rajya Sabha cannot amend money bill. Rajya Sabha can only make recommendations. Hear me again. Rajya Sabha cannot reject money bill. It cannot amend money bill. But it can make recommendations. It can recommend the amendments. It cannot amend money bill itself, but it can recommend the amendments. Alright. Next. Rajya Sabha has to return money bill within 14 days from the date on which it is received to Lok Sabha. So Rajya Sabha has to return money bill within 14 days with or without recommendations. Alright, so Rajya Sabha can delay the money bill only for 14 days. After 14 days, it has to return the money bill with or without recommendations. So Rajya Sabha cannot reject money bill. Rajya Sabha cannot amend money bill. It can only make recommendations. Then Rajya Sabha has to return money bill within 14 days of its receipt to Lok Sabha. 14 days के अंदर लोक सभा को राज्य सभा ने रिटर्न करना है वो मनी बिल. Now, it is up to Lok Sabha whether to accept or reject all or any of the recommendations made by the Rajya Sabha. Meaning, Lok Sabha can accept or reject all or any of the recommendations made by the Rajya Sabha. It is a choice of Lok Sabha whether to accept those recommendations or not. See what happens in ordinary bill. If an ordinary bill is transmitted to Rajya Sabha after being passed by Lok Sabha, and if Rajya Sabha passes the bill with amendments, then those amendments become part of that bill. But here Rajya Sabha cannot amend the bill. It can only make recommendations. The recommendations, it depends now up to the Lok Sabha whether to accept those recommendations, any of recommendations or all the recommendations, or reject any of the recommendations or all the recommendations. All right. So when the money bill is transmitted to Lok Sabha by the Lok Sabha to Rajya Sabha for its consideration, Rajya Sabha has restricted powers. It cannot amend money bill, it cannot reject money bill, it can only make recommendations, and recommendations made by the Rajya Sabha, any of the recommendations or all of the recommendations can be accepted or rejected by the Lok Sabha. It's a choice of Lok Sabha. Now, if Lok Sabha accepts the recommendations of Rajya Sabha, if Lok Sabha accepts any of the recommendations of Rajya Sabha, then a money bill is considered to have been passed by both the houses of parliament in modified form. Hear me again. If Lok Sabha accepts any of the recommendations made by Rajya Sabha, then the money bill is considered to have been passed by both the houses of parliament in a modified form, meaning in a form which includes the amendments suggested by the Rajya Sabha. Now this is simple. Now if Lok Sabha rejects all or any of the recommendations made by the Rajya Sabha, then also the money bill is considered to have been passed by both the houses of parliament in the form originally passed by the Lok Sabha without any recommendations or without any amendments. So even if Lok Sabha rejects the amendments suggested by Rajya Sabha, then also bill is considered to have been passed by both the houses of parliament in a form originally passed by Lok Sabha. Third, now this is everything. We are talking about Article 109. Everything is provided under this Article 109. Now third, if Rajya Sabha does not return the money bill within 14 days, Rajya Sabha simply sits on the money bill, does not take any action, does not return. Rajya Sabha has to return money bill within 14 days. But what happens? But if Rajya Sabha does not return the money bill within this stipulated period of 14 days, then also the money bill is considered to have been passed by both the houses of parliament in the form originally passed by Lok Sabha. So now you will realize that as far as money bill is concerned, Lok Sabha has more power vis-a-vis Rajya Sabha. Alright, now I am not going into the process of ordinary bill. We will discuss that when we will discuss the polity classes, when we will have polity classes, right? Now what about presidential assent? Now every bill which is duly passed by both the houses of parliament, it is presented to the president. All right. Now Article 111 of the constitution talks about the presidential assent, right? Presidential assent to bills, and in that article it also talks about presidential assent to money bill. All right. So according to Article 111, when a money bill is duly passed by both the houses of parliament, when money bill is received by the president, then president can withhold his or her assent, or president can assent the bill. President can assent the bill, or president can withhold his or her assent. But according to Article 111, president cannot return money bill for reconsideration by both the houses of parliament. No, president cannot return money bill. On the other hand, ordinary bills can be returned by the president to both for reconsideration by both the houses. But money bill cannot be returned by the president for reconsideration by both the houses of parliament. President can withhold his assent, his or her assent, or president can simply give his assent, but it cannot return the money bill. Now practically speaking, president gives assent to the money bill. Why is it so? Because money bill is introduced in Lok Sabha with the prior recommendation of president. If president would have some objections to that particular bill, money bill, then he would have not given the permission itself. Alright, but since the money bill is introduced in the Lok Sabha with prior recommendation of the president, then president usually gives his assent to money bill. Now this is broadly the procedure of money bill. Now let's talk about the controversy. Now the most important part of this lecture is to discuss controversy. Now what happened in 2016? Aadhaar Act was passed. Aadhaar Targeted Delivery of Financial and Other Subsidies, Benefits and Services Act was passed in 2016. Now this act was passed as money bill. Alright, so speaker decided to speaker treated the Aadhaar bill as money bill. So many member of parliaments from Rajya Sabha, they criticized this move. They said that no, this is bypassing the constitutional authority of Rajya Sabha. How can you do that? Alright, so this particular Aadhaar Act, which was passed as money bill, was challenged in the Supreme Court in what is called as Justice K. Puttaswamy and another versus Union of India and others case 2018. Now this another was Jairam Ramesh. Alright, so Aadhaar Act was passed in 2016 as a money bill. This was challenged in Supreme Court in Justice Retired K. Puttaswamy, K.S. Puttaswamy and another versus Union of India and others case 2018. What was the contention? That Aadhaar Act is unconstitutional. Why? Because it was passed as money bill, and that has bypassed the constitutional authority of Rajya Sabha. Right. So now Supreme Court gave its judgment by 3:2 majority. So to discuss this issue, Supreme Court formed 5-judge constitution bench. 5-judge bench. See, constitution bench is a bench which has minimum 5 judges, right? So 5 judges constitution bench was set up to discuss this case, to issue whether the Aadhaar Act was passed, whether the passing of Aadhaar Act as a money bill was constitutional or not. Now Supreme Court in case Puttaswamy and another versus Union of India and others case 2018, Supreme Court gave its verdict in September 2018. It gave its verdict by slender majority of 3:2. By 3:2 majority, Supreme Court upheld the passage of Aadhaar Act as a money bill. What was the argument given by Supreme Court? Supreme Court said that since the Aadhaar Act, it provides for the constitutional obligation by the union government to provide subsidies, benefits and services. That's why its passage as money bill, it is correct. It is rightly, the Aadhaar bill or Aadhaar Act was rightly passed as money bill. So it upheld the government's contention that yes, this bill deals with the subsidies and benefits which will be taken from Consolidated Fund of India, right? And that's why it is passed as money bill. So understood in 2018, September 2018, Supreme Court by 3:2 majority upheld the passage of Aadhaar Act as money bill. Now, one particular judge who gave dissenting judgment in this case, K.S. Puttaswamy case, Justice K.S. Puttaswamy case, and he was Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. Now, Justice Chandrachud gave his dissenting judgment. Now, the arguments given by Justice Chandrachud, they are very important to understand. Now, Justice Chandrachud said that Aadhaar Act does not fulfill the criteria given by Article 110 Clause 1. And that's why Aadhaar Act was wrongly passed as money bill. In fact, he went to the extent of saying that passage of Aadhaar Act as a money bill, it is a fraud on the constitution. It is constitutional subterfuge. It is dishonest. Now, why he said so? What were his arguments? He said that passage of a bill as a money bill, or passage of Aadhaar Act as a money bill, it deprived Rajya Sabha its constitutional role to reject or amend that Aadhaar bill. I told you that as far as money bill is concerned, Rajya Sabha has limited powers. It cannot reject or amend money bill. It can only make recommendations. So Justice Chandrachud argued that passage of Aadhaar Act as money bill deprived Rajya Sabha of its legitimate constitutional role to reject or Aadhaar bill. The passage of Aadhaar Act as money bill bypasses or supersedes the constitutional authority of Rajya Sabha. And he said that this amounts to abuse of constitutional process. He said that Rajya Sabha has important role to play in passage of laws. And superseding and bypassing the authority of Rajya Sabha, it is in conflict with the constitutional scheme. And it is against the legitimacy of the democratic institutions. He said that Rajya Sabha should not be bypassed, should not be superseded, because it represents the balance of power. It represents the delicate balance of bicameralism, which is the part of basic structure of constitution. He said that the Rajya Sabha should not be bypassed. Why? Because it represents the balance of power and plurality of the nation. Rajya Sabha is an important house. So that were the arguments given by Chandrachud. But anyways, the Supreme Court by 3:2 majority, it upheld the passage of Aadhaar bill as a Aadhaar Act as money bill. All right. Now, again, all right. Again in 2017, Finance Act 2017 was again passed as a money bill. All right. So again this was challenged. All right. So first Aadhaar Act was passed as money bill. It was challenged. Supreme Court in 2018 upheld the validity of that act. But again Finance Act in 2017 was passed as a money bill. And again it was challenged, right? So what was the government views? Government said that the Finance Act was rightly passed as money bill. Why? Because it provides for salaries and allowances of the members of tribunals. Basically, Finance Act 2017 basically dealt with it had provisions concerning the functioning of tribunals, quasi judicial bodies, right? So government argued, see, in every case in front of court, there are respondents and there are petitioners. So in this case, the government was respondent. All right, the case came to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court also again, like Aadhaar judgment, again Supreme Court set up 5-judge constitutional bench. Right. So government argued that since this particular Finance Act provides for payment of salaries of the members, salaries and allowances to the members of the tribunals, and these salaries and allowances will be withdrawn from the Constitutional Fund of India, and that's why, since this bill will appropriate the fund out of Constitutional Fund of India under Article 110, it is a money bill. It is rightly passed as money bill. Finance Act was rightly passed as money bill. That was the argument given by the respondent. In this case, it is Government of India. Now petitioners, they argued that just because the bill provides for salaries and allowances doesn't mean that it is a money bill. No. All right. Now Supreme Court gave its final judgment in November 2019. Okay, 5-judge bench, constitution bench. And the name of that case was Roger Matthew. Roger Matthew versus South Indian Bank Limited. This is the name of the case. Roger Matthews versus South Indian Bank Limited case 2019. Now, like Aadhaar case, Supreme Court in this case by 3:2, slender majority of 3:2. ठीक है, basically it again considered this issue. Now again by 3:2 majority, Supreme Court said, now this issue is very complex. It said that this issue is very complex, and interestingly, Supreme Court argued that we need to interpret the meaning of the word only in Article 110. So I told you that Article 110 defines money bill. According to this Article 10 clause 1, a bill shall be deemed to be a money bill if it contains only provisions with regard to all or any of the following matters which are mentioned in Article 110. So he said that we need to interpret. The Supreme Court in this case said that Supreme Court in the Justice K.S. Puttaswamy case did not go into detail regarding, did not interpret the meaning of the term only. And interestingly, Supreme Court said that Aadhaar Act should have not been passed as a money bill. Supreme Court questioned its own decision. That is, say that the decision, maybe there are certain complexities, and Supreme Court ignored those complexities, such as definition of or meaning of the term only. So Article 110 requires to be interpreted again, reinterpreted again, and this is a complex matter. Now Supreme Court said that since the Aadhaar Act as well as this particular act, right, Aadhaar case as well as this particular case, the bench was a 5-judge constitution bench. So Supreme Court could have not overruled its earlier judgment. Why? Because to overrule the earlier judgment of Supreme Court, the number of judges should be more than the previous case. Now in both cases 5 judges were there, right? So that's why Supreme Court said, now since this issue is very complex, Supreme Court said that we are referring this particular issue to a larger bench of 7 judges. It requested Chief Justice of India on administrative side to set up the 7 judges constitutional bench to look at this issue afresh of Finance Act as a Finance Act 2017 passed as money bill. And again it also said that okay fine, again let us discuss this issue again, Aadhaar Act as a money bill. So it clubbed these issues and said that okay, the whole issue should be looked into afresh by the larger bench, right? So it requested Chief Justice of India to set up this 7-judge constitutional bench to deal with these issues. All right. Now till date, the 7-judge constitutional bench has not been set up. As far as best of my knowledge is concerned, the 7-judge constitutional bench to discuss these issues has not been yet set up by the Chief Justice of India. And this particular judgment, obviously it will be set up, okay? And when the Supreme Court gives this judgment will have a wide-ranging repercussions. Both the Aadhaar scheme, whole Aadhaar scheme as a concern, as well as the interpretation of Article 110 is concerned. So it's very important. Please keep your eyes on this particular judgment. All right, it will come surely, right? Now it means that, see, I've told you that in September 2018, Justice Chandrachud expressed his dissent, and in 2019 November, what did Supreme Court said? Supreme Court said that Aadhaar Act could have not been passed as money bill, right? So this particular judgment, which was given in November 2019, Roger Matthew case, it has genesis in the dissent given by one of the finest judges of Indian Supreme Court, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. All right. Now, Now this is the case, right? So Aadhaar, whether Aadhaar Act was passed as money bill rightly or not, and whether the Finance Act was passed as money bill. Now both these issues, whether they were rightly passed or not, this issue has been referred to the 7-judge constitutional bench, which has not been yet set up to the best of my knowledge. All right. Here, one more important issue which we need to discuss is regarding the speaker's decision to treat a particular bill as a money bill, right? So now, while discussing the procedure of money bill, I have told you that under Article 110 Clause 3, if any question arises as to a particular bill is money bill or not, then the decision of the Speaker of Lok Sabha is final. It shall be final. I told you that in the beginning itself. Now herein lies the controversy. The controversy is that whether the Speaker's decision can be challenged in the court of law or not. Whether the Speaker's decision regarding treating particular bill as a money bill, whether it can be challenged in the court, Supreme Court or High Court, as the case may be, or not, whether it is immune to judicial review or not. Because Article 110 Clause 3 says that Speaker's decision shall be final. Now there are a lot of arguments, counter arguments there. I mean, many articles came in various newspapers before the Supreme Court decisions. Some said that no, Speaker's decision is final. Constitution explicitly says that. Some said no, Speaker is bound by Constitution. Speaker cannot go beyond the Constitution, right? So what did Supreme Court say? Supreme Court in September 2018 said through Ashok Bhushan and Chandrachud that the Speaker's decision in case of money bill, it is not immune from judicial review, meaning it can be challenged in the court of law. See, the problem is in Aadhaar case, Supreme Court did not in detail discuss about whether the Speaker's decision is final or not. Right? That's the problem. But these two judges, Chandrachud and Ashok Bhushan, they said that Speaker's decision, whether a bill is money bill or not, it is not final. It can be challenged in the Supreme Court or the High Court, as the case may be. Now, interestingly, in 2019, in fact, right, so Chidambaram was representing Jairam Ramesh in 2019, November 2019, Roger Matthew case, right? So Chidambaram said that while arguing in front of court, it said that the Speaker's decision is final only as far as the institution is concerned. In this case, Parliament or Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Right? So Speaker's decision is final only Parliament is concerned. It is not final. It can be challenged in court, which is not a part of Parliament, right? So Speaker's decision is final only as far as institution is concerned. In Parliament, within the Parliament, Speaker's decision is final. It cannot be challenged. But it can be challenged in other institution, that is court. Alright, so that was the argument given by the Chidambaram. Anyways, so in September 2018, these two judges say that okay, fine, Speaker's decision is not final. It is final in Parliament, but it can be challenged in the court. It is not, Speaker's decision is not immune from judicial review. It is subject to judicial scrutiny. Now again in November 2019, Roger Matthew case, Supreme Court again said that yes, Speaker's decision, whether a bill is money bill or not, it is subject to judicial review, but the scope of judicial review in this case, it is extremely limited. So Supreme Court said that, it was cautious. It said that, the Speaker's decision can be challenged in the court, but only under exceptional circumstances, only under certain circumstances. It is not as if every time you will challenge this. No, you have to prove that yes, these circumstances are exceptional. Speaker's decision can be challenged, but not every time. All right. So understand that constitution. See, understand that speaker is a constitutional authority. Now, who created speaker? Who created speaker? Constitution of India created the office of speaker. So, speaker is bound by the constitution. He or she is not over and above the constitution. Nobody in India is over and above the constitution. Be it speaker, be it prime minister, be it anyone. Right? Constitution is supreme in India, right? So, speaker is not above the constitution. So, it cannot, his decision cannot go against the provisions of constitution. So, that's why, obviously, speaker's decision can be challenged in the court. If it is not so, speaker will treat every bill as a money bill and it will bypass the Rajya Sabha. Then Rajya Sabha, what is the meaning of having Rajya Sabha then? Right? If the speaker's decision is immune from judicial review, then the day will come when the government through speaker will pass every bill as a money bill. Then what is the purpose of Rajya Sabha then? Because in money bill, Rajya Sabha has limited purpose. So don't you think that it is a violation of the constitution? Alright, so that's why the speaker's decision as far as money bill is concerned, it is not final. But there are certain confusions. There are certain scholars who argue that no. Read Article 120 of the Constitution, that the court shall not interfere into the procedures of the Parliament. Article 122 bars court from interfering into the procedure of Parliament, and it said that no procedure in the Parliament can be challenged in court of law on the ground of procedural irregularity. So some say no, see, read Article 120, Supreme Court or Court, High Court or Supreme Court, as the case may, is barred in interfering in the parliamentary procedure. But understand that, make no mistake, understand that speaker's decision to treat a bill as a money bill, it is not regarding to procedure only. It is not procedural irregularity. It is regarding the constitution itself, interpretation of constitution itself. All right. So in the conclusion, we can safely say that yes, speaker's decision, as far as money bill is concerned, it is not final. It is immune to judicial review. Now I will give you one more arguments. See, there are various editorials and various articles which does not give us clear understanding. Even Supreme Court does not give us clear understanding, because Supreme Court did not, in both the cases, Supreme Court did not go through this issue in detail. Maybe in the 7-judge, I think the 7-judge constitutional bench can go into this speaker's decision, whether it should be final or not. I think this issue will also be will be considered by this 7-judge constitutional bench in detail, and that will also be very interesting to know. Right, because because only these 2 judges, they have said that speaker decisions can be challenged. All right, but apply your logic. Now in Keshavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, one of the historic cases of the Supreme Court said that there is something which is called as basic structure of the Constitution, and Parliament cannot violate the basic structure of the Constitution even by passing amendment to the Constitution. So in this case, Supreme Court said that the judicial review, it said that it enumerated that what constitutes basic structure, right? So Supreme Court said that we will decide it case by case, but in this case it said, amongst the other things, that judicial review is the part of basic structure of the Constitution. So don't you think that if the speaker's decision is final and it cannot be challenged in the court of law, then don't you think that it is violation of the doctrine of judicial review, which is the part of basic structure? And basic structure cannot be violated. It is inviolable. It is sacrosanct. All right? Right. So sometimes it's very important to use logic to arrive at a conclusion, right? So understand, even if Supreme Court has not gone into this decision, but use your sense, right? So on the basis of Constitution, right? Even in Minerva Mills case, Supreme Court said that judicial review is the part of basic structure of the Constitution, and in various other judgments of Supreme Court as well, judicial review, it has declared that judicial review is a part of basic structure. Now, how can you say, if you say that speaker's decision is final, it cannot be challenged in the Supreme Court or High Court, then you are basically taking away the power of judicial review. You are preventing the Supreme Court from looking into this issue of whether the speaker decision is final or not, which is a violation of basic structure, violation of doctrine of judicial review. All right, so understand that the speaker's decision as far as considering any particular bill as a money bill, it is not final. It is final only. It cannot be challenged in the parliament. It is final in the parliament. It is final, but it is not final in the court. It is immune. It is not immune. It is not immune. It is not free from judicial review. Speaker's decision can be scrutinized. It is under the judicial scrutiny. All right. Now I hope this particular issue is concerned. Your concepts are clear. All right. So as far as examination is concerned, particularly prelims, you can get so many questions as far as this issue is concerned. Right. You can get a question on articles. Right. Which article of the Indian Constitution defines money bill, or which article of the Constitution provides special provision, or there will be and there have been various multiple choice questions on money bill in prelims. So understand this. What are the powers of Rajya Sabha vis-a-vis money bill? What are the powers of President vis-a-vis money bill? Right. So you can get so many questions in prelims, but in mains you can get question as far as analysis is concerned. You can get a question, for example, define money bill, explain the procedure to pass money bill, and do you think that the speaker's decision as to whether a particular bill is money bill or not is final or should be treated as final? What are your opinions? All right. I mean, this issue is also important considering the biased and partial role performed by the speaker is concerned. All right. So you can use this particular issue while you are writing about the bias, writing about the functioning of the speaker. So Speaker of Lok Sabha has given this immense power of deciding a particular bill as a money bill. But now Speaker is expected to perform his or her duties without fear and favor. It is an independent constitutional authority, but unfortunately the experience suggests that the speakers, they are biased towards the government, ruling government. Right. So because of that, if the government wants the particular bill to be treated as money bill, Speaker just obliges it because he or she is biased towards government or partial towards government. Right. So in this context, we can also say that the speaker's decision, whether a particular bill is money bill, should not be decided by the speaker. For example, now link this with anti-defection law. Now, even in case of anti-defection law, the anti-defection law, which was passed in 1985, which inserted 10th schedule to the constitution, it says that the speaker's decision regarding the disqualification of member of parliament on the grounds of anti-defection under the anti-defection law shall be final. But Supreme Court, again here it is written that Supreme Court, the speaker's decision regarding the speaker or the chairman of Rajas, presiding officer's decision as far as the disqualification of the member of parliament is concerned on under the anti-defection law, it is final. But Supreme Court in Kyoto Holohan versus Jachilhu case, Kyoto Holohan case 1993, it said that no, the decision by the speaker or the speaker of Lok Sabha or the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, as the case may be, it is not final. It can be challenged in the Supreme Court or the High Court, as the case may be. All right, fine. And Supreme Court gave its own judgment. So if under the Anti-Defection Act, if the decision of the speaker can be challenged, then why not in this case? Apply your logic. All right. I hope the various issues regarding money bill is clear. All right. If you have any doubts, you can write to A Cube Institution. All right. And we can have a separate session on that. All right. So thank you so much. We will discuss any other topic of current affairs in the next week. All right. Thank you.